Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Top Hat Gaming Man here, joined by Street, and welcome to another edition of Top Hat Chat. How are you feeling?
You change that up every time.
Well, I'm going to try and make it different.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm feeling the cat. I feel it's been a long time since we've actually sat down on the sofa and tried to say something.
Something without something directly gaming related.
Yes, and with any real substance.
Yes,
which
so
may be debatable as this
yes,
video
so
goes on.
as part of this Dream broadcast, we'll be talking about the Dreamcast.
I did love that. Sorry. The Dreamcast. Many memories of this will be coming from you. Not so many from me.
Okay.
Do you want to start? I suppose.
Yes, I've already done another huge video over on my main channel, Top Hat Gaming Man, if you'd like to check that out. I made a little video which actually triggered some people for titling. It's called Is the Dreamcast Worth Playing in 2018?
Clickbait.
Yes, that's what people are like, really clickbait? How dare you make a video what people will want to click and watch? That's disgraceful behaviour. Yeah, you had quite a few morons like that basically. But yes, it's a good video and I put 3 days of solid hard work into it, so make sure you check that one out. So I talk about a lot of my experience with it in that one, but to give you a quick recap, I suppose, I got this during its life cycle, and I have to say it's one of those few games consoles that really stood out from its competition and looked better than anything else on the market. That rarely happens. There's normally always an equal around, I would say. Yeah. There's rarely one ultimate console that's better than everything else.
Yeah, which is strange. It's a strange thing that I don't have many memories of it, considering that was the case. Because I generally got bought most things that I wanted as a kid. But the Dreamcast just wasn't really on my radar. The only real memories that I've got of the Dreamcast is I had a cousin that had one. And I used to pop round there maybe a few times a year and play like House of the Dead.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed the arcade style of play, but that was about it. Like, at the time at least.
See, for me, I when it was first announced, wasn't interested, didn't really care, because there'd been loads and loads of Sega consoles. We had the Sega Saturn, the Sega 32X, the Sega Mega CD, the Sega Mega Drive, the Sega Master System, and the Sega Game Gear, all released. Quite a few. That's quite a few consoles released within like a decade, sort of thing. Yeah. So that's a lot. So it wasn't that exciting, a new Sega console. However, upon experiencing it around my next door neighbour's house, I found I had to have one. Like, graphically, it was the most outrageous thing I'd ever seen. For the first time, 3D games did not look like ugly polygon messes. For the first time ever. Games were not disgracefully bland and ugly like the PS1 and the Nintendo 64 at the time. The games actually looked nice on this thing. And apart from that as well, you could use it for web browsing as well. And trolling people in chat rooms. It was amazing. I've never been able to do it on a games console.
I can definitely see why you would like that part of it.
Exactly. So I went from trolling people on prank calls to trolling people in chat rooms using this.
I mean, I think one of the things that the Dreamcast does very well, looking at it now, because obviously most of my experience has come through the streams that we've been doing, and we've done a bit on Dreamcast.
Posthumous experiences.
Yes, something like that. Is the fact that it used what it could do really well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It didn't try and go for like the Tomb Raider style graphics very much that the PS1 was doing at the time.
What, ugly blocky polygons?
Yeah, but they were trying to make that look nice.
They
were trying to make it look real.
Yes, it looked amazing.
Whereas the Dreamcast knew that technology wasn't quite there yet. So they did other things, and they put a lot more effort into the 2D games.
Cool, we're on about the Dreamcast now.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good 2D games, but the 3D games were very impressive at the time. Like bloody Shenmue, you've seen me playing that quite a lot now.
Yeah, I mean that had a huge budget though.
Yes, it was the most expensive game ever made at the time, but it really shows, like, look at something like Shenmue and how that looks in comparison to something like, let's think, Spyro the Dragon, and look at the difference. They were made in a similar short time frame. And
yeah, I can definitely see that.
Big difference, and it was such a powerful, amazing system. And then obviously, the PlayStation 2 was the system that got released after the Dreamcast, and graphically, for a good while, the PlayStation 2 couldn't compete with the Dreamcast. It was all hyperbole and lies that it was going to be amazing and great, the PlayStation 2, but it wasn't. It became great, but only due to the fact that everyone bought one, and it took after a while, it did become one of the best systems of all time. But the Dreamcast was good a lot quicker than it took the PlayStation 2 to get good.
It was a propaganda war.
Yes,
I suppose.
And the PlayStation won that propaganda war, even though it was lies, like any propaganda.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of things to say about the Dreamcast. One of the things that I do want to point out really, really quick is the controller.
The controller, which
it's just over there because I can see it in my periphery.
That's quite funny. You said periphery whilst talking about a peripheral.
I know. See, I did it on purpose. I wasn't going to point it out, but
good joke. It was a good joke.
Thank you. I mean, the controller itself, it feels quite nice.
I like it.
There's no problem with this at all. I prefer it to the PlayStation 1 controller, definitely, and I don't think the N64 controller can even come close to how nice this feels.
And also, I'd like to point out that it's a Sega controller, and it has an actual proper D-pad. This was the first D-pad on a console, as far as I'm aware, after Nintendo wrongfully copyrighted it for so long.
Yeah, and before we get called out for this, because I tried to call you out in the brief discussion we had about this before, the PS1 didn't have a proper one.
No, it doesn't have. No, this is the first one after Nintendo to have a proper D-pad.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that I think is a little bit silly about the Dreamcast controller is the stupid screen you've got on the front of it.
It is a stupid screen.
It doesn't really do anything,
really.
But it looks nice.
Yeah, it looks cool. It made it look even more futuristic and different to everything else that was available. Like I said, it was just tried so many things to try and stand out and be the ultimate system. Sega literally did blow their load on this system and try and put out everything they possibly could.
Yeah, I think they did a good job, and they just didn't put enough into the marketing.
I personally think they put in a ton. I think they did everything right, personally, except apparently they could not, for whatever reason, get EA to make games on their platform. Although retrospectively, would that have made that much difference? Because EA and their sports games, it wasn't the be all and end all back then.
No,
well, it wasn't in Europe anyway. You had FIFA, obviously, but FIFA wasn't any more important than any other football game, was it?
Not really, not at the time.
No, there was no. You could just play Virtual Strike or whatever instead. It was a football game. Was a football game. It wasn't. Oh, I only play FIFA because I'm a sheep. It wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But what in America, I don't know. Maybe people did only play Madden.
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't live there,
this.
so I don't know whether that was the case in other regions.
Yeah, I think even asking people now, it wouldn't work.
What's that?
Unless there was only Madden and there was no other American football titles at all. That'd be the only way to find that out.
So let us know in the comments section, ladies and gentlemen, if in the 90s people would only play Madden when it comes to American football games, because it wasn't the case with FIFA in our country back then. Anyway, not yet.
No, so we've come to the conclusion. The controller was very, very nice. It felt nice. The games were really, really good. It was a really powerful system. Do you think timing may have played a bit of a...
I honestly think the main factor, what led to the Dreamcast not doing as well as it perhaps could, were two things. Was firstly, its predecessors, so the Saturn and the 32X, not doing very well worldwide. And then after that, the PlayStation 2 fake news. So all the fake news, what was around the PlayStation 2 before its release, even though there was the Dreamcast was out for a significant amount of time before the PlayStation 2 hit the shelves, people were waiting out for it anyway.
Yeah, I can see that.
And most of it was just fake news. People wanted it just because, I've got a PlayStation, so the next console I get is a PlayStation 2. There was no legit reason why you needed to wait for one.
Yeah, but people still kind of do that now.
They do still do that.
You do get a lot of people that are hardcore Xbox fanboys, and you get a lot of fan persons.
Yes.
See, I'm trying. And you get a lot of people that are diehard PlayStation fan persons.
So I suppose there wasn't enough Sega fan persons around by the type of Dreamcast.
Yeah, well, I think that again, what you said, with the amount of stuff they've thrown out, it kind of got a bit. Well, I haven't got the latest system, the latest Sega system, but
who cares about the Dreamcast? I might get Dreamcast 2.
Yeah,
maybe that was the attitude.
Maybe. Just to give a little bit of a gap between people that owned the Saturn, and they wouldn't go out and buy another one straight away, would they? It'd be a bit pointless.
But this was one of the consoles in my lifetime what really, really did impress me at launch, more than most I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, we played it. Talking about the games that were on the system, obviously Shenmue was the big one. It's actually your favourite game of all time, or very close to your.
It's one of my favourite games of all time. I won't go as far as
up there in top 10.
I'd put it in my top 10, I think.
Yeah, so it easily fits in top 10. So that's an amazing game. The storyline seems really, really good. You get to kick footballs into people's faces.
Yes, you get to get a job and live in a groundhog forklift driving hell as well.
That sounds nice.
You get to look for revenge against the man who killed your father, whilst getting to go into the arcades to play Space Harrier.
Yeah.
Going to bars to meet sailors.
Searching for sailors.
Looking for the Mad Angels.
Yeah.
All sorts.
And if you were looking for sailors, where would you look?
In a bar.
And it takes you 4 hours in the game to find out where to go and find
It does, but did you know that in Shenmue 2, there's actually, you can fiddle with the clocks so that you don't have to
that's
wait
nice.
all the time.
Yeah, that's quite a good way of doing it. Save some time.
But then why would you need to save time when you can just play Space Harrier instead?
That's true. Yeah, because your dad will still be dead in
Exactly.
6 months. You might as well play Space Harrier for 6 months, then try then.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
So that was one of the games that we played. Obviously, we have nothing bad to say about it, as shown in what we just said. What are the other games that we've been playing recently?
We've played a lot, so I think we should wrap this video here and maybe talk about some games in standalone videos. What do you think? Because I've got a lot to say about one in particular.
I think that's a good idea. Should we just list off some of the ones that we have been playing for future videos?
Say it again, just list some of the games we've been playing.
And then we're going to, so come.
Okay, what have I been playing?
I don't know.
I think we have played lots on stream. Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur was great, yeah.
Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, it's on everything.
Yes, it's got a taxi and it's crazy. But a lot of good Dreamcast games on everything because they're that good. They got ported to everything after the Dreamcast's demise. A bit like the Wii U, I suppose.
Okay. Well, if we can't remember because you've gone mind blanked, do you want to just do an outro?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, so if you enjoyed this completely unplanned, almost unprofessional somewhat video, then there is a lot more like this on this channel, which are equally as insulting to your intelligence at times. So, if you enjoyed this random rambling, then make sure you click the subscribe button. Also, what I would be most curious about is to hear about some of your experiences with the Sega Dreamcast. How do you remember the system? Was it one of the most impressive platforms you had ever seen? Because it certainly was one of mine. I'd be interested to know, so let me know. Cheerio!